I'm using a browser I don't often use, but okay. Okay. Like I said, I really want us to kind of have an interactive conversation. I was actually meant to just try to find out from the people on the call when they see or when they hear someone say personal branding, what's their understanding of personal branding. That will kind of guide our entire discussion. So we are still going to be unmuting like 2 or 3 people to kind of like share with us. I'm interested in like hearing from Joshua, the personal development coach and the managing partner. What is his understanding of personal branding? Or when he hears somebody say personal branding, I could love to hear from Joshua. If I can
I
also
believe
Gloria.
I believe it's your how you elevate yourself towards your clients or the people. It's the elevator pitch, how you package yourself, the value you've added on yourself. Basically, those three, I think they entail your personal brand, what people know you for, maybe to emphasize your value proposition. So many words.
Thank you, Joshua. I would love to hear from somebody else. Let's say Gloria. Okay. I don't know. Andrew, help me confirm if Gloria is on the call.
Yeah, Gloria Adeti, did you get the question? Your microphone is muted. But Achio, as Sharon Bensi wants to contribute, so her hand is up. Sharon,
Anybody?
you can.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi,
Yes,
Sharon.
Sharon.
Yeah, this is Sharon Bensiasio. So for me, what I would look at in terms of personal branding, when we talk about personal branding, we look at communicating something that is unique about your maybe service, your product, or your profession. You bring out something that is really, really unique that would drive me as Sharon to come and pick such services or products from you, or would actually attract someone else to come and pick that same product from you other than picking it from someone else. That is my understanding of personal branding, that unique value proposition that you have. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else that loves to share?
Yes, Gloria is now available. Gloria, you can go ahead and share.
Great, thank you.
Yes. According to me, it's someone's character and values that make them stand out and make people want to align with them in a particular maybe sector or stand out in. So to me, it's their persona, their character, and the values that they stand for that make them stand out.
All right. Andrew, is there anybody else that loves to share?
I think Gloria was the last person.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I think from what we've shared, one thing we can come to conclusion is that just simply the word personal branding is broad. Personal branding is broad, and the common statement is even before you are showcasing your values, even before you have a USP, even before you are doing anything, you actually have a brand. Like I love the bit where somebody says what they know about you and all that. That is the first composition of your brand. Like whatever we know or whatever we see, that is the composition of your brand. Yes, we know your values, we know your character, we know that alignment and all of those things. So those make up what the first bit or the first composition of your brand. But is that what is really going to, let's say, make you money or make you stand out or bring you the opportunities and so much more? Are there somebody that then said the bit that brings you the opportunities or the bit that makes you stand out? I think Sharon shared about communicating something unique, positioning yourself in a way that is totally different from all the other people in your industry, in your sphere, and all of that. And now that is the bit that then makes you unique or makes you stand out. I thought I'm going to be speaking to freelancers only, so I wanted to go through a whole understanding of personal branding. But now that we are all a mix of people, so let's just have a whole mix of it all. So for me, from my understanding, personal branding is you creating and managing a public image, like a perception of yourself in people's minds. We are on the call. I don't know you, Joshua. I don't know Simon. I don't know Gloria. I don't know Sylvia. I don't know Louis. I literally don't, like, I've never met all of you. That means if I had probably met you online on social media, because now social media is the easiest way to build a personal brand. Social media is making it easy to build personal brands or to build stronger personal brands. And social media is making it easy to showcase everything that we've been speaking about in terms of your character, your values, alignment, how you stand out. We are only able to start doing that on social media and then bring it off social media. So just being able to create a perception about yourself, managing that identity, everything that you do being a reflection of your values, of your skills, is basically personal branding. In a way that if I hear somebody say your name or if they tell me about you, the only thing that comes to my mind is, oh, she's a person that does this, but she said she also does this. Like, that is the whole sphere of personal branding. I think Joshua refers to it when he said, what do people know you for? So it's a whole 360 thing of what do they know you for in terms of your values, in terms of your skills, in terms of your professional demeanor. So in values, do they know you for integrity? Do they know you for delivering on time? In terms of skills, do they know that you are a writer? Do they know that you are a graphics designer? Do they know that you are a video editor? Like, do they know your skills and expertise? It's a lot that you have to tap onto for you to be able to build a strong personal brand. And it doesn't matter if you are in a circle of so many things. I think I'll address that when it comes in as a question, maybe at the end of the session, where somebody said, how do I make people recognize me for events management, for running, I think, a mobile salon. There was something like events management, that was running a mobile salon, and something else there. For me, my understanding would be that, okay, so in terms of what you do, you are an entrepreneur. So how do you build your brand as an entrepreneur? So basically, it is just you positioning yourself or strategically presenting yourself to people that you want to know you, so that you establish credibility, you establish trust, and you differentiate yourself from anybody else that is doing what you're doing. Somebody spoke about communicating your uniqueness and, you know, having differentiation and a USP and all that. So that is like personal branding. The first understanding of it is where we spoke about what people know you for, if they know your skills, if they know your values, your character, and everything. All of those are going to stand and all of those are important. But then if we also don't know your skills and what value you bring to the table, then you're not going to reap from good character alone. So as you're communicating your value, as you're communicating everything, it's key to be communicating what you bring to the table. So for me, the components of like personal branding, one is really like self-awareness. If we were going through a coaching session that I conduct, would now go through you trying to understand your strength as a person, your weaknesses, where you're doing better and where you can, you know, just have to change and all of those things. Because first, before you say that, at the moment, let's say right now, we all of us have personal brands, but before we go an extra mile of saying, okay, I want to really grow my personal brand, I want to start standing out on, let's say, on social media, I want to be active, I want to do this, you need to know you're going to be active in what spheres. What are you even going to speak about? What are you strong at? When you stand in a space, what can people really recognize you for? Because there's so many different things that we can do, but maybe we are not strong in all of those areas. So the first thing is just doing the whole self-awareness of knowing that me as a person, I am A, B, C, D, and E. If there's somebody on the call that is doesn't mind just doing a whole kind of mind exercise at the moment, try and note down these questions. Who are you? What do you do? Who do you do it for? And why you do it? It's going to take you some days or even time to really put like straight up answers to, I am this person, I do this, I do it for these people, and this is why I do it. If one was keen enough when, let's say, Andrew was like reading through, I don't know where he picked what he was reading about me because he didn't get it from me. But if one was keen enough listening to it, there are bits where he was, basically he started with, she's a marketing and public relations consultant, blah, 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 blah. He was trying to describe who I am He went to what I do. He actually also described who I do it for. There was a whole phrase of girls and everything. He came to why I do it, and I think he described the whole narrative of storytelling and how our stories shape our lives and all of those things. So we can be doing so many different things, but if we actually encircle ourselves around them, you're going to be able to answer those questions. Who are you? What do you do? Who do you do it for? And why do you do it? Because when you have an answer of why you do it, you're going to have a unique value proposition of, I am doing this because of this. This is what makes what I do unique. And this is why people need to either consume it from me or nobody else. It could be the coaching services for the personal development coach. It could even be a career professional, whatever it is that you're doing. How you frame it or how you speak about why you are doing that thing that you're doing is what gives it a unique value proposition. All of us are marketers. There are so many people that do marketing or public relations, or there are so many people that do project management. But how are you going to frame why you are doing what you're doing for you to be able to stand out in spaces where you speak about what that thing it is that you're doing? The other component is, of course, having clarity on your target audience. Now, this is in regards to people that are in spaces where you are either a freelancer or you are a business owner. You have your kind of sort of a business, you're starting something. You cannot build a personal brand for everybody. You cannot say that I am doing this, or my brand is meant to attract everybody. Everybody that comes on, I can offer them something, or what I offer is for everyone. So as you're answering those questions of who are you, what do you do, who do you do it for, is your target audience. If I'm a website designer and I really want to build a strong personal brand, I need to kind of identify who are going to be my target audience, so that every time I communicate, I'm communicating to small business owners, or I'm actually communicating to non-government organizations, or I'm communicating to parastatals. I've seen somebody that has successfully built a personal brand when they were sure who their target audience was. And this is, the photographer is called Makula Pictures, specifically wedding photography. Specifically wedding photography. Not graduation, not headshots, not anything else, but specifically wedding photography. And that has set Makula Pictures apart. Every time you think about the best wedding photographer in Uganda, you only think about Makula Pictures. Just that you cannot afford him, but if you can afford him, you're like, Makula Pictures takes the best wedding pictures in Uganda, because he has tried to differentiate himself with his target audience, that I'm only doing this for this kind of people. The other component is, of course, consistent messaging, which we shall go through when we speak about online presence and everything. How you're speaking, how you're creating your content, how you're showing up on social media, your brand identities, all of that. All of those are components of how strong your personal brand is going to be in the eyes of people, where you want to build a perception. As we go through this, if somebody has a notebook, let's just speak about something that I call the whole 360 understanding of personal branding. This cuts across now business owners, freelancers, or everybody else. Because from the questions, from the answers, was people spoke about value, perception, communicate, and all of those things. So look at it this way. Look at personal branding this way. You are existing as a person. You are there. You are Joshua, you are Gloria, you are Louis, you're Sylvia. You're existing as a person. We know you, you are our friend, or maybe we are working with you, but we just watch you. We see you, you see us. That's all that we do. So the perception we have about you in our minds is basically, you come, you get your job done, you go home. You come, you get your job done, you go home. So the first component of you actually building a personal brand is changing perception. You have to change perception in people's minds. So they know you as the Gloria that comes, gets her work done, and goes home. That means they don't know what you stand for. They probably don't even know how you get your work done, but they know you get the work done. So they don't know how. They're just watching you and they see you go. And us that don't even know you, because we are not your friends on social media, we don't know you. So you also have to change your, but first you have to change perception. So there is you, then there are people. Now you have to change perception in people's minds. So when you are done changing perception in those people's minds, then you get onto social media platforms. So right now we are all existing. We have LinkedIn, we have Instagram profiles and Twitter, but people on those platforms, even those people don't know us maybe for the things that we do, or probably they know us just out of the normal conversations. So after you changing perception in the people's minds, those that know you, you then get onto social media and change perception in people's minds on social media. And this is a continuous journey. Because if you say, I want to build a brand around the 4 things I do, the only way you're going to build that brand is actually getting onto a platform and speaking about those things that you do. Because the brand is you speaking about the things that you want people to know you for. You want us to know you for certain kind of things, but you're not actively being affiliated with those things, yet you want us to know you for those things. So get onto the platforms and create content that is solving a problem. If we go back, we spoke about you, people, perception, getting onto a platform and creating content that is solving a problem or addressing a problem. That problem is in line with the things that you want us to know you for. So if I'm a business owner, or if I'm intending is to start my business, or if I'm a freelancer, let's say I do social media freelance, I manage social media pages and everything. The only way I'm going to change perception in people's minds, and the only way I'm going to reap from my social media management, is if the content I'm putting on a platform is actually addressing the problems of those target customers that I want to convert in my social media management agency. If I wake up and I'm running a banner of, I am the best social media person in Uganda, please work with me. Nobody's going to work with you, and your brand is even not going to grow, because our problem is not getting the best social media person in Uganda. Me as a target customer, my problem is why I'm running Meta ads and they're not converting. So if you wake up today on LinkedIn and you, the best social media manager in Uganda, shares for me content on how I should make my Meta ads convert, how I should target them, where I should target them, what keywords I should use, I'm going to try it. I'll still fail because I'm not the expert. And then I'm going to come to your DM and you'll convert me as a customer because you've made content that solves a problem. So I'll take you back again. There is you, there are people, there is perception, there's a platform. You create content that's solving a problem. Then you can go further and create a product from that problem that you solve.
Excuse me, Victoria.
Yes, please.
The slide, are you moving slides? You speak as if you are moving slides.
No, I'm not moving slides. This is all in
Okay.
relation to like self-awareness, unique value proposition, target audience, and consistent messaging.
Because for us, we've been seeing one slide, so I was thinking maybe I'm missing out and I don't.
No, I'm only able to do if it's a training, this I'm only able to demonstrate this on a board. Actually, my notebook is busy now. That's the only way I'm able to demonstrate that.
Okay, it's okay. I'm writing in the chat for everything you are speaking, so people will be receiving it as you speak. I thought I was missing out something.
No, that's why I actually asked them to pick out notebooks.
Okay.
Ideally, when you notice that, oh, she said there is me, then I have to change perception, and I'm changing the perception in people's minds. And while I'm changing that perception, I have to get into a platform. So if I'm already existing on a platform, then I have to now create content that is solving a problem or addressing the problem that I want to be known for. That's the only way that I'm actually going to make a product and later make profit from my personal brand. So like those are like, they're all in here in the self-awareness, the unique value proposition, you identifying your target audience, having a consistent messaging. That's my modules and frameworks, so I can only train them when I'm on a board. For me, the other component of personal branding is, of course, visual identity, visual appearance in terms of logos, colors, schemes, and personal style, which we shall go through later. The slides are so many. Then I was speaking about content creation, which is also a very important component. There is no personal branding if you're not creating content. Like there is no brand. You are existing at the moment. If nobody is creating content, then there is you have your brand and you are blending, but there is no real personal brand if you're not creating content, because your family and those that know you and everything you can do. But if we don't know you and everything that you can do, then your brand is not strong if you're not creating content. And the other sad thing is, the seventh thing is, of course, networking. So the biggest question, of course, that people ask is everything is in their personal branding. Why do I need to, let's say, work on my personal brand? Let's even turn it around. Why do I need to create content and stand out as a freelancer or as a business owner or as a coach or as someone in my sphere. Why do I need, because personal branding is content marketing. So why do I need to stand out and create content? The biggest thing, or maybe the one of the advantages, is career advancement. For those that want to advance in their careers, I've seen many of my friends getting jobs simply because of their strong personal brands, because people have seen them on platforms like LinkedIn. They know that this person can do A, B, C, D, and E, so I can have them do it for me. If someone is into the consulting space, freelance space, are you able to actually get work that is out of your league, I would say? Work that is out of your league simply because you're standing out as a professional. The second thing is trust and credibility. This is weird, but as weird as it sounds, when people actively see you creating content, they trust you. They can even pay for a service before you deliver that service, simply because they know that if you don't deliver, you have a brand they can tarnish. If you don't deliver for me, I'm going to come to LinkedIn and say, I paid Victoria to do this and she did not do it. I paid her to do this on Twitter and she did not do it. So that means when you have a strong personal brand, it builds trust and credibility. So you can get people to trust you to get work done for them simply because they see you actively creating content and promoting yourself on the platforms. Somebody spoke about differentiation. We are all accountants, or there are so many accountants. Every year, Macquarie has many that graduates. There are so many project managers, there are so many marketers, and so many people. Like, there are so many people. But the only thing that makes you stand out is how you're positioning yourself in your industry. At the moment, I have a very good friend of mine, Faizo. Faizo is like standing out in the fields of PR, as if he's the only PR practitioner in Uganda, simply because every day he wakes up and he's trying to build his personal brand on LinkedIn. He's sharing his stories, he's sharing his insights, he's dropping tips here and there. So there's differentiation. Like, when all of us are speaking about who is trying to stand out in the industry, we can only speak about him. So how many people are going to speak about you in rooms simply because you're trying to build your personal brand? That's the other biggest benefit. Increase visibility in terms of who is going to know you, who is going to reference about you, who is going to recommend you for something. All of these come when you're building your personal brand. And then, of course, greater influence. If people don't know you and what you stand for, then what are you going to have to tell them? Because yes, you're an accountant, but if I need someone to speak to, if I need someone to really explain to me why the deposit protection fund only insures 10 million shillings and below, I'm not going to speak to you, because I don't know if you know that. I just see you walking around, going to your job and coming back home. That means if I need someone to actually help me file my returns before 30th of June, I'm not going to consult you for that. And it's a small gig of maybe 150K that you might get from me. But because I don't see you actively showing up as someone that can do that, I'll not look out for you. Like, those are the little things of really like standing out and, letting people know the things that you can do, so that every time they think about that kind of service, you are top of the mind. We are coming to, I think, 30th June, people need to have filed their annual returns. Many people, like many small business owners, consultants, even freelancers on this call, if you have a TIN number and if you've ever filed a return, then you have to file returns. You're either filing zero or you're filing something. And many people don't know how to get that done. But if there's an accountant, there is a CPA, an SCCA person, people that are actively now standing out and, educating us about taxes, taxation, and all of that, IFRS drama, are the people that we now have to pay our money. 1 hour, 150,000. I give you my logins, you file for me my returns, you give me back my logins, the business is done. So if someone has a strong personal brand, you can actually convert 10 people in a day. You make your 1.5 million, just log in, file that one, close it, send them their report. Another one, file it, close it, and send it. That's the other benefit. Like, you have a greater influence and you can actually be able to monetize that influence. The thing I have learned is that all of us have the potential to monetize any kind of knowledge that we have, if we go ahead and try to make people understand or try to make people know us for the knowledge that we know. Is it you're running your business, you are a personal development coach, you're doing project management, whatever it is that you're doing, you actually have the power to monetize it. It could be on a small scale or on a large scale, but people can pay you for the knowledge that you know, if you show them that you know that knowledge. When Andrew was introducing me, he spoke about the African Sisters Network. I'm currently looking for someone that I can pay a very small amount of money to just guide me in terms of how do I run my programs, how do I do this, how do I design the program framework and everything. And every day I go on LinkedIn and check, I'm looking for like a program manager who is like, who shares knowledge, so that I know that, okay, when I sit down with this person, they're going to charge me this amount of money, but they're going to design for me the framework and how everything should run. So for me, when that was going on in my mind, I said, okay, so that means all program managers are not trying to build their personal brands. They're all not standing out because, they're being paid their money in the office and they're comfortable. So that means even career professionals, business owners, anybody, whatever knowledge that you know, when you stand out and start to build your personal brand, we're in like this era right now, people can pay you for the value, for the knowledge that you can share with them. So that's the benefit of like building a strong personal brand. For freelancers, of course, why, if there's a freelancer on the call, why they need to build their strong personal brands is differentiation. Differentiation, my God, that one is a very difficult word, but that one. Yeah, I know you got it. I'll give you an example of Makula Pictures and how we can all relate to him, that he's the wedding photographer in Uganda. Trust and credibility. I need you to get work done for me. If you don't have an active social media presence, I don't think I can deposit $1 million shillings because you're going to run away. But if you have an active social media presence, every day I see you waking up and showing up for your brand, I know that if I deposit my 2 million shillings for this guy to just edit this video for me and he doesn't edit it, I can come back on Twitter and tarnish his brand. And when I do, he'll have to apologize. So because all of those things I've thought about, I know that I can trust him to actually get the job done for me. I can deposit for him and, just tell him you're going to edit that, and then I walk away. Attracting clients who really value your unique skills and expertise. If people see you every day waking up and showing up for your brand, they know how much you value your brand. They know that, you're not just doing something for the sake of doing it. So only those that actually value your brand are going to come to you. So if someone comes to me, if someone comes to you, let's say you're a videographer, still the best example is Makula Pictures. People make wedding budgets, but if you know, or if you look at your budget and you go and tell Makula that, I need 2 drones, I need this, and he gives you a quotation, and the quotation is like 3x your initial budget, you don't complain. You just say, I cannot afford the man, you walk away. And then now everybody that thinks about the best wedding photographer, now those are thinking about, those value his unique skills and expertise. Everybody that thinks about the best wedding photographer then thinks about Makula, because they're like, I don't care. He'll give me a quotation of 60 million. It's okay. I'm going to work with him because he's the best. And it's so funny that where personal branding has gone, or where building a strong personal brand has gone, sometimes clients will convert simply because they know, if I work with that person, I'm going to come off rich as well. So it brings up that association thing. Like someone says, no, if Makula Pictures takes my photos and posts me on Twitter, already everybody's going to know that I paid a quotation of 60 million. I don't have to explain my financial status anymore. People are going to know that I paid that amount of money. Now, it's because the other person has built a strong personal brand that even clients want to associate because of how they are going to feel when they associate with him. And then there is you who has not, you are a photographer, you are taking very nice photos, but because nobody knows you, nobody values your work, there are clients that will think, if I work with him, I might have to explain the money I paid. Is even worth the 50 million he's asking for? Because even if he posts on his Twitter, people will not think that I paid that much of money to actually get him to take my pictures. People will rather think I went for the cheapest. But he's not cheap. It's simply because he's not building a strong brand, but he's doing good work. So there is a way a strong personal brand helps you play in the consumer's minds. Because when you are doing the right thing and you are positioning yourself as the best, the consumer actually thinks you are the best, and they think associating with you makes them the best as well. That's the other thing about building a strong personal brand. So how do you start? You are a freelancer, you are a videographer, you are a photographer, you are a social media manager, you are an app developer, you are a website designer, you are so many things, you are an interior designer, you are so many things. How do you start to build your strong personal brand? If we take a step back, you have, let's say you have identified who you are, what you do, and why you do it, or maybe who you are and what you do. And you're like, I'm an interior designer, I design bespoke designs, I design for commercial, for industrial, and for these kind of things. That is your description of who you are as a person. So we need to get something that sets you apart. Like there are so many interior designers. So yes, you have this, put a description of who you are, or, even the description is interior designer. That is who you are. So you need to identify a unique selling proposition, something that is going to make you different from others, or something that maybe others are not doing, or sometimes it's about the impact of your work. Is it that, is your work eco-friendly? So that is something that people are not doing. When you're doing your work, do you use, I don't know, weird materials that I can't explain, things of those. For someone to get a unique selling proposition, you have to look at things like your skills, like what are you really skilled in as a person? It might be design, it might be the softwares that you use. We could all be using the same softwares, but how you use them is totally different. Or you might actually know of another different software that some of us don't know about, and that's what is making you unique. The second thing that probably makes it easy to have like a unique selling proposition is just some of your personal experiences as a person, like the things you have gone through, your journey, all of those either make you stand out or they make you stand down. So is it working with clients? Is it working on complex projects? Is it, this is where, let's say, people that are into sales can even attach numbers. Were you able to sell, I don't know how many high ticket sales in a year, things like those. These are things that make you unique as a person. Then the other thing is personality traits. In terms of, are you creative? Do you have strong communication skills? Do you have strong writing skills? Are you the kind of person that can speak at any stage or anything? So all of this, you getting your unique selling proposition now takes you back to something we spoke about, which is self-awareness and assessment. Because you can only identify what makes you unique when you ask yourself questions and really identify that I am skilled in this. Let's say in the different softwares you're skilled in, these are some of my experiences or things that I've gone through. These are my personality traits and all of those. I don't know, should I give an example? I'll give an example, maybe I'll give an example. Currently, every time I speak to someone about that, the African Sisters Network, I always reference to my personal experience growing up as an African child, the things I was able to do from the years of 20 to 23, and the fact that I did not actually action on them because I had nobody to really tell me that do this or do that. So if I walk you people, like if I walk you through what that community is supposed to do, one, it has an ideal target audience that is defined, that young girls 18 to 28. So this is me not trying to speak to the world, trying to speak to everyone, but to be particular, that 18 to 28. So then if I tell you the story, the experience that build onto that, you as a person, you're able to know that I am the target audience or I'm not the target audience. So if you're being intentional as a freelancer, as a business owner, if you're being intentional about your personal brand, you actually go that extra mile to know that, because your personal brand builds onto your business brand. People first buy your personal brand, then they buy into your business brand. Otherwise, your business brand will stand and it's going to struggle, or you're going to have to invest in a lot of money to market your business because you, as the business owner, your personal brand is not strong. But if your personal brand is strong, then that personal brand can support the business brand. So the two need to kind of align, because if we are freelancers, we move on from freelancing to actually owning consultancy agencies and everything. So it starts from the beginning of how you've identified your unique value proposition, you as a person, what do you stand for, and things like those. I've seen people that have so many unique selling propositions and things that they use to make them unique. Let's say if you're going to use your, if you're a website designer and you think you can be unique in terms of you're an expert in developing custom WordPress websites for small businesses with a focus on user experience and SEO. So here, this person is using 3 things for you to know about what they do. They're saying they are developing for small businesses, which means they have been clear on their target audience, small businesses. They're saying they focus on user experience and search engine optimization. So they're not looking at anything else. They're saying, when I design a website for you, my focus is on user experience and search engine optimization, and I'm looking at small businesses. So as a freelancer, as a photographer, as whatever it is that you do, how have you defined your kind of USP? Somebody else will use it in terms of years of experience, and they will be like, they're a graphic designer with over 10 years of experience in branding for tech startups known for innovative and modern designs. So this person is using their experience and then the target customer. I have been doing this for 10 years and I do it for tech startups. So ideally, one, they've identified the spaces they always want to be in, tech startups, and then they're telling you about their years of experience. If I was a freelance writer, let's say if I'm a writer and I also want to specialize, because I know when I specialize, I'm going to get my customers in that kind of sphere. And I say, I'm a freelance writer in health and wellness with a background of clinical research. So I know that I'm only focusing on grant writing, article writing for health and wellness. That means if a UNDP or if a World Health Organization is at any point in time, they're looking for somebody that can review a document, that can write a paper, that can do something, they're not going to look around for so many people because there is that one person that has actually made sure their brand is standing out in writing about health and wellness. And that is like that is what makes personal branding important. Like, well, that's what makes you reap from personal branding. When you start to be intentional about your personal brand, you're not looking at reaping today or tomorrow, but the seeds that you keep planting are going to help you reap in the future. Because you don't say, oh, I've started posting today. Victoria said we should post. And I'm posting, and I'm not getting any results. You are planting seeds that you're going to reap from in the future. That's why there is a word that people always say, consistency. Like, if you start and you stop, then we forget about you. But if you start and you're being consistent, then we're actually not going to forget about you. So I've done a whole wrap for like 15 minutes. I would love to see if we have like questions in those few slides we've gone through. Then I can go to defining your target audience, which I'll just be brief about since we've been speaking about the same. Andrew, you can control the flow in case we have any questions in regards to those particular things, or we continue.
Okay, if you have a question before we move on to the people are already raising their hand. In line with what we've talked about, what makes a strong personal brand and stuff like that. Yeah, Simon, you can go ahead.
Yes, thank you for the for the information. I have three questions. The first question is in regard to ads, the Google ads, Instagram ads. There are a lot of people who really use ads. What's your say about them? Some people don't like using them because they're like, I want the real people. Like, I don't want the ads. And the second question is about. Second question is, what are some of the things that are essential for one to invest into their personal brand? Like some of the things that one should invest into, like as a brand. What are some of the things that you have to invest into yourself? Then the last question is, what exactly do I have to give the social media manager? Like, what do I expect from a social media manager? Maybe if you can just tap on it and just say something about the social media manager, like what exactly is expected of them? Do I have to create the content and give it to them, or they help you create that same content? Yeah, thank you.
Oh,
okay. One more person, and then we answer the questions, then move on to the next stage. So Gloria, you'll be the last person for this Q&A. We'll take on the others after. Gloria, go ahead.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Victoria, for the information. My question, the first one, is from the last point you gave of personal branding and business branding. I feel like we struggle when you've been doing personal branding and now the company or the business has grown, and it's now a business. People still want your face, people still want Victoria, yet maybe you've grown, you have branches, you have, let's use Makula Pictures that you are using. Won't someone want himself to feel like they've gotten value for that service? So how do you separate, or at what point do you separate your personal brand from the business. I see a lot of influencers struggling with this. They just cannot separate themselves from the business, yet it has to grow. Then the second point is there a point where you can stop and say, okay, now I have done awareness? Like, I feel it's like a continuous journey. Like, if there are always new people who want to know what you're doing, so you're kind of constantly repeating, I'm Gloria, I do this, I do this. Is there like a certain place where you reach and okay, people now know, then you can move on to other things? Thank you.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Andrew, for controlling the flow. I think let me start with the first questions. One, it was about ads and if people need to run ads. Ask yourself a question: why is Coca-Cola still paying influencers? Why does Coca-Cola still run ads? They run ads. They run the best campaign. Like, their campaigns are always the best during the festive season. Even locally in Uganda, they're running ads. It's simply because all the time there are new eyeballs that you have to reach. And you should never be lied to that the only way you have to reach those new eyeballs is through organic content. Never. Because when you run ads, you notice you're going to get, let's say, 10 or 5 new followers. So that means those people actually came and followed the account because they find value in the account. And then 3 or 4 are going to unfollow because they've not found any values. That's okay. So they just all the time relates, let's say, your personal brand or even your business brand to other brands that you see and those other successful businesses. Like, there's something I often use or I reference to. I tell people I use one profile picture on all my social media platforms and I use it for a space of 2 years. I use one profile picture on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Twitter, on WhatsApp, on Medium, on Threads, on YouTube, and I'll use the same picture for 2 years. I think I just changed my picture on WhatsApp because I have an event, and still, even the picture on the event flyer has to be the same picture that matches my profile picture. I'm being intentional about it because I ask myself a question: the business brands, does Coca-Cola change the logo? Because when they change the logo, they have to announce that they've changed the logo. So it is those simple steps that when you always look at, when you're building and you're building intentionally, especially if you're just a person, like I'm building my personal brand and I'm building it intentionally. Because for me, the past 2 years, I had no company, I had no business. So I was just making sure that people can know Victoria Nyanzi and what value she can give. And that's what I was trying to do. And because I was that intentional, I was trying to leverage or just look at what are the businesses doing. So my question was, is Coca-Cola changing their logo? No, because when they change, they have to announce that they have changed. So even in terms of you wearing options or should I run ads or not, it's the same question. All of the companies we know, successful companies, are running ads. Why do they run the ads? Because you need to reach new eyeballs all the time. You can never be satisfied. It's the reason why all of the rich people we know still produce products and do what, because you can never be satisfied. So with the ads, if you can afford, run the ad. The difference is the content that you're running in the ad should be valuable so that when people see it, they're actually going to either tap and engage, they are going to follow, or that content is making them convert in some way or another. So if you are somebody that is having a campaign or you want to this is so much into businesses now. You're running a campaign, or if you're still a freelancer and you've discounted something. Let's say I'm a photographer and it's March, so it's Women's Month, and I've discounted, photo sessions for women. I'm going to run an ad saying, 30% off for all women this entire month, because I know I'm going to run a campaign for just $15 and I'm going to convert a lot of money out of it. Don't be afraid of running ads, please run the ads. That takes me to the question number 2 of what are the essential investments in personal branding? Of course, the first investment is social media. Like, you're only able to you're building offline, but now you also have to build a brand online. So you have to invest in how you are showing up on social media, like how you're showing up on social media. And sadly, we can only show up in visuals, which means we are either showing up in photos or in videos or in content, in written content. So that's the number 1 investment, social media presence. So encircle the entire social media presence, what it needs, what you need to stand out on social media. You need photos, you need videos, you need content, you need all of those things. That is the most important thing. Maybe offline, of course, then the other important investment is going into spaces and networking. But networking without a strong social media presence does not give you return on investment. Because I think these days we notice when you speak to someone, you give them your number, the next thing they're checking you out on LinkedIn. They find, you are there, you are lousing, you're not intentional about anything. You're like, this guy also, he was not serious with what he was speaking about. Because if those people are intentional, they notice that you're not intentional about what you're doing, so they don't take you serious at all. Then the third thing I think you asked about, what do you expect from a social media manager and what do you give them? It depends on your terms of negotiation with the social media manager. Did you negotiate them to give you content, or they're just managing your account, and though that makes them community managers? That means they're just replying to comments, liking, and keeping an engagement. Or did you negotiate in terms of them creating content for you? Now, if you negotiated in terms of them creating content for you, that means they have to give you a content strategy. This is another conversation that is a little bit totally different, but since social media and personal branding are aligned in the same conversation, it's okay. But if you negotiated and they have to create content, that means they have to give you a content plan and you approve that, this is the plan, we need to go ahead with it, and this is the kind of content that you have to design for me. So it depends on so many different things, because now, how does your content plan look like? Do they have to make designs in Canva, or the content plan is simply videos, photos, and captions? All of those determine the deliverables of the social media person that you have. So maybe later on you'll expound on the question in terms of, is the person managing your personal account? What deliverables do they have, or what did you negotiate on? And we see if we can dive into it later when we are close to closing the session. There were 3 other interesting questions. One was balancing the personal brand and business brand in terms of, yes, you build a strong personal brand, and because people know you, they only want you to deliver a service. I used to be that kind of person that thinks it is that way. Or let me start from how do you actually balance the two? And if you are taking a break, or if you want to take a break, or if you want to do something else, how do you do it? I'll give a very good example. There's a lady I do my hair from. She's called Mira's Salon. Mira's Salon, yes, the lady is called Samantha. Samantha has built a strong personal brand in terms of quality. Like, now, if we speak about that personal brand is the values and what you deliver, so her brand is tagged to the quality that is done at her salon. So because we know that anything that happens at the salon is going to be quality, even when she's not there, the brand is actually working. So her personal brand is existing, because even when you meet Samantha, oh my God, every day you know that this woman runs a salon. Like, her brand moves around her. When you meet Samantha, you know that this woman runs a salon. Like, she has her hair neat, her makeup is neat. So the quality that the salon gives, she looks it. And ideally, if your mind is working smartly, then you know that she does not do this for herself. It's done in the salon. So what are your brand promises? What do you deliver as a person, so that people know that you deliver A, B, C, D, and E, and you can actually step away, but because those are the things that you deliver, they can always be delivered. But there was a very important question of, when do you stop? But you attached a sentence to it that is so crazy, where you said, there are always new people, so all the time I have to come and tell them, hi, I'm Gloria, I do this and do this. If your understanding of personal branding is waking up every day and saying, hi, I'm Gloria, I do this and do this, now that is not personal branding. There's a word there that is value. You introducing yourself every day and saying, hi, I'm Victoria, I do this, you are not giving us any value, because your introduction is not solving our problems. We want to know, you said you are a graphics designer, or you said you are a personal branding coach. So how are you going to help us? That means every day you're not going to stop, because every day you're trying to give us solutions to our problems. Today you're telling us, how do we choose the right social media platforms for our personal brands? Tomorrow you're telling us, how do we monetize? The other day you're telling us, how do we network? Then you still take us back and tell us that we need to use one profile picture on all platforms. So every day, and personal branding doesn't stop. The question is, I will still take you back to relate your personal brand to the bigger brands that you see. When does Elon Musk not post on Twitter? every day he's causing chaos. So if a brand, as Elon Musk is posting every day, why would you, a personal brand in Uganda, think of stopping? Like, when is the time for me to stop and concentrate on something else? Like, we continuously build because there are new eyeballs that we have to reach each and every other day. So the more you build, the more you continuously put out content, you're actually reaching those new eyeballs. Unless if you get to a level where you say, so I built my brand, I monetized, I made enough money, so now people know about me and I'm in retirement of building a brand, or even in retirement of building a business. That would be the whole answer to when do we stop. So when you start taking an intentional step into controlling what people think about you and how you reap from what people think about you, or how you reap from your knowledge, just relate everything you're doing to how businesses are running the things they're doing. Like, intentionality is like that. Relate everything you're doing to how businesses, like big businesses, are doing what they're doing. So when you wake up and feel like, I don't want to post on social media today, then relate to the ad that you just saw of Sanlam Insurance. Then you relate to the ad that you just saw of Absa Bank. So that's how you have to relate your personal branding if you're that intentional about it. I hope I just kind of tapped on those questions and really defined them so well. Now, let me just go into a whole defining of your target audience briefly, because we've been speaking about it. I always love referencing to the community I'm currently building, because the biggest question that people have been asking me is, why have you said you're only working for young girls? You're only working with young girls 18 to 28. You're leaving out, as the bigger women, you're leaving out the men. People keep telling me boys are not being catered for. But I've noticed that if you're being intentional about personal branding, then you need to have a clear understanding of a target audience, because you're going to speak to the masses and you're not going to reap from the masses, or you're going to build a community, or maybe have a product for the masses, and you're not going to be able to stand out simply because you are there speaking for the masses. Like, if a man, a painter, an artist, there's an artist I love because his paint is unique. I've forgotten his name, but his art is specifically to that kind of people. Like, he specified that his art is for that kind of audience. Well, let's just go. How do you define your target audience? The first thing is age. If you are particular to that level, you can actually be particular in terms of age. The people that are particular in terms of gender, I have seen someone can be particular in terms of actually helping women of color, that they are particular, they're only working with, Black women or something. People can be particular in terms of still age groups, that, I'm working with, I don't know, mid-level managers to achieve this, or I'm building for this kind of age group, sort of those kind of things. There could be terms of gender, that is, you're looking at female, you're looking at male. Even when you be particular with your audience or with your audience location, you can say, I'm working with people in Uganda, in Africa, all the world, all over. I think the African Sisters Network, we are working with African girls and girls of African descent, something of that sort. So every time, I think I would have had a thinking of, the Sisters Network. So the Sisters Network is looking at all sisters everywhere, sisters, Indian sisters, Canadian sisters, sisters everywhere. So, but there is something particular about, I'm working with people in Africa. When we looked at somebody's USP, who is a website designer, he was particular about working with tech startups. So you can actually define your target audience in terms of industry, that whatever it is I'm doing, I am targeting people like this. And being particular, especially for career professionals, or for career professionals, being particular in terms of industry is something that I have seen people reap from, like, in the bigger future. Like, if there is that industry that knows you, and when people think about who does the best communication for impact, they're like, that is the person. She tells the best impact stories. Like, every time they think about who can really craft the best impact story, no, there is this girl. Who does the best filming for impact? Who does the best documentaries in Uganda? And your name comes up. Like, you have really specialized in terms of industry. When people are saying, who does this best in that industry, you are the only person they think about. That I've seen people win in that area of personal branding, being particular in terms of industries. It takes time for you to make people look at you as a thought leader in that industry, but when they do, like those are people that start getting projects with UNDP, with UN, with World Food Organization, with World Health Organization, because you have made yourself stand out in that particular industry and they only know you for that. Maybe the other way you can define your target audience is just getting an understanding of their needs and pain points. Like this is now on a low scale. Let's say you're working for SMEs, you build websites for SMEs. So what are some of their pain points? Maybe high quality content, innovative designs, reliable tech support, and so much more. Let's say you're a social media manager. The biggest pain points that clients have, of course, is the whole community management thing, responsiveness to comments, sort of quality content creation, editing, and all of those things. So you can define or your target audience looking at their pain points and what they need you to deliver for them, so that every time you're speaking to them, your USP is directly speaking about a problem that they're going through or a problem that is running in their minds. The other thing is probably just online behaviors. Where do your target audience spend their time? Is it on LinkedIn? Is it on Instagram? Is it on Twitter? I have seen someone that has successfully done this. She ideally has an understanding of, I am working with women, I think, what's her name? She does something to do with sales. Her name is Claire B on Boss Babe, if anybody knows her on the call. Claire teaches people to make money from Instagram. How do you make sales from Instagram? So she has been able to tap down her target audience, people that market or people that market their businesses on Instagram. She teaches you how to make money from Instagram. So that is the other thing, like being particular in terms of where do they spend their time. And then the other thing is, if you're also particular in terms of what influences people's purchasing power. Is it formal? Is it peer recommendations? Is it case studies or online reviews? There is a Twitter influencer that I have seen successfully build his personal brand and the business brand using like people in terms of behavior. If somebody on the call knows a guy called Albert Katruguma. So everything about his brand and the business brand is people have the fear of missing out. So because they have the fear of missing out, he creates a narrative. He creates a narrative for the clients he works with. He creates a narrative around himself. And at the moment, even people have that FOMO of, I have to be friends with Albert because he's the good guy. He's the guy on social media. He's the guy on Twitter. So like he has understood that my target audience just has fear of missing out. So how do I get them to buy into my personal brand? I'm going to sell to them FOMO all the time. Whatever product, whatever service, I have seen him successfully sell things like products for banks, products for artists, using just one thing, FOMO. Like I'm going to sell to them FOMO. And each and every day, even when he has nothing to sell, he wakes up and communicates FOMO. Like his content comes off like FOMO all the time. It's just, you guys have to feel that whatever it is he's working on, you don't have to miss about it. So that's how you can like kind of segment your target audience and know that if I use this strategy or this strategy, I'm going to get people to really buy into my personal brand and have them understand what I'm doing. If you're a freelancer or you're a business owner sort of, or you're an individual just like me, you're trying to define your target audience. There's some examples of target audiences like, small business owners, 30 to 45 in Kampala, looking for website development. Now, if you're a website developer, those are like, that can be your target audience. Or you can even be so particular about it that you're building websites for consultants and coaches, this kind of age who are in this kind of industry. We are now in an era for consultants and coaches. They need websites. If you are somebody that does campaign management and everything, you can also be particular to, you're looking at marketing managers in tech startups. They're doing ABCD, they're doing creativity, engaging content, and they need someone to boost their social media campaigns. I have seen someone do this. His name is Isaac Odong. Yeah, his name is Isaac Odong. I think you had a training with Isaac Odong. So Isaac Odong does funnels and automation, and like his particulars. Every time I think about somebody that does funnels and automation, my mind thinks about Isaac Odong. Every time I think about someone that does funnels, automation, campaigns, my mind thinks about him. So like that is the power of personal branding, getting your niche what people need to know about you, that this is what this person does. And literally they've been able to stand out in the country. Like when you think about that, you can only think about them and you think about other people. So that is how you need to, like, if you're trying to define your target audience, give it those kind of definitions. You're either looking at where people spend their time, you're going to define them in age, you're going to define them in terms of needs, or you're going to define them using the value that you're giving them as a brand or as a person. Oh my God, I have a very little time left. Let me just go into online presence and everything and all of that. There's a very little conversation about portfolio, but because we are speaking to freelancers, then I have noticed, so I can confirm that as a freelancer, if you're on the call and you do some of the things I do, let's say you write, you do social media management, you do press release distribution, you are a graphics designer, you are a UX designer, a website designer, you are a photographer. The ideal freelancing, if you are into those kinds of freelancing, like you need a portfolio, you need something where as soon as somebody says, they told me about you, you know, I would like to see some of your previous work. You're not double thinking, you don't have to design, you instantly are sending them like a link to your portfolio, a link to your, or maybe you're sending like your drive or something of the sort. Like that's the first important thing that you need to have. As you're building a strong online presence, you need that. I think this, you all know what you have to include in the portfolio: services or things that you offer, testimonials from clients, visual styles in terms of consistency and all of those things. That's a conversation that I believe we all know. And this is one I really wanted us to speak about: leveraging social media. I've been doing some Lugambo while we were answering the questions. The names I noted down, I had to go to my LinkedIn and check if these people are actually on LinkedIn. And sadly, I don't know if I was putting in the wrong names or if I just didn't have the names right, or if I was seeing the wrong profiles, but I had to check out Joshua, Kitsuba Joshua. I checked out the LinkedIn profile. I checked out Kamali Innocent. I checked out Louis Sayebale. I try to see, you know, how are these people leveraging their social media? Are they on LinkedIn? Are they on Twitter? Are they on Instagram? And I saw some profiles, but I'm not so sure if those are the right profiles. But just take a look, or look at it this way: if you are me, if I'm you and we have met at an event, and then you tell me your name, then I come and, you know, after us having a conversation, you tell me, I'm a personal development coach. I do, you know, I do career trainings or personal development, mindset and everything. And the next thing I want to know, so if I'm to work with Joshua, I need to know if his brand, if his online brand actually aligns with my online brand. I need that I'm not just going to feed into him and he's not feeding into me. So I go to your LinkedIn because I want to check and see. So if I'm to put him on a banner, who has to look for customers? I might have to put him on a banner and I'm the one going to struggle to look for people to attend the masterclass because he doesn't have a strong online presence. Then when I check you out, I check on LinkedIn, I find someone that has a picture from 1990. I check on Instagram, I can't find you, or maybe there is a Joshua _ King Jesus. I check on Twitter, I just cannot find you. If you're being intentional about your personal brand and leveraging social media, one of the things you have to do is actually be consistent. Consistent in terms of the same name. If you're running as Victoria Nyanzi on LinkedIn, we need to go to Twitter, and when we search Victoria Nyanzi, we can find you. We need to go to Instagram, and when we search Victoria Nyanzi, we can find you. We need to go to the search engine, and if we search in Victoria Nyanzi, we are finding all your social media profiles. Because you want to, at the back of your mind, what you want is, you don't want your target customer to be lost. You don't want to miss any opportunity, because opportunities are coming from everywhere. So that means if I am the American embassy and they've told me that Joshua can come and train people on personal development, I'm going to go to the search engine and I'm going to search for who? For Joshua. If I cannot find him, I'm like, who is this person? How are we going to relate with someone that does not have a search engine presence? I'm searching for you on Google. I cannot see your name. I cannot see any of your photos. I cannot see your social media profiles. So you're going to miss out on the opportunity simply because of that. If I come to LinkedIn and I still cannot find you, the opportunity is going to leave you because I can't find you. So you need to have consistent brand presence. But as you're having a consistent brand presence, look out for platforms where your target audience is most active. This is where people sometimes miss it or waste a lot of time, I would say. So you know that you're speaking personal development and you are spending time on Twitter. It's going to take them time to buy into personal development, because as they are buying into it, somebody drops something, like as you're telling them about how they have to live intentional lives, how they have to be, how they have to embrace continuous learning, how they have to do this. There's a lot of ruckus going around. Yet, if you come to LinkedIn, these people every day are just speaking your language. So you just have to come in and, cut through the noise. But then if you are into, let's say you're a fashion designer, if you come to LinkedIn, it's going to take us time to buy into your latest trends of fashion. But if you go to Instagram, we are going to buy into your latest trends of fashion. So it's about understanding where does your target audience spend most of their time, or where are they most active, or even which kind of content is going to appeal to them where and at what point in time. And that's one of the things that you have to be keen about. So if you're someone that is really into, or most of your target consumer is business to business, like you list down, or let's say if I made a list down, I have a breakdown of target customers. The customers that will pay me the amount of money that I deserve as a coach are going to be corporate companies, because they are looking for someone that's going to come and train their people. So corporate companies are not going to find me on Instagram. Those kind of decision makers are only and only going to find me on LinkedIn, or they're only going to see me on LinkedIn. So that is how you have to be particular in understanding your target audience, like where are these people and where are they going to find me. Then there's a whole posting framework of social media on share your personal stories, share your personal stories, which is 1, share an expertise post, which is 2, and then share an industry insight, which is 3. Like all the time, it's personal branding is personal. So the only way we are going to know you, or the only way your brand is actually going to stay top of the mind in our minds on social media, is if you're letting us sort of into your life with a personal story. You're letting us into your expertise, and your expertise is solving a problem for us. And thirdly, if you're giving us some industry insights or things that are happening. So share industry insights, use your personal experiences and story to cut through the noise, because everything that you as a brand wants to do, there are people that do. There are people that do tour and travel. There are people that do photography. There are people that do videography. There are people that do everything. There are people that do accounting. So how do you cut through the noises if you use your personal story? The other thing about leveraging social media is you need to know why you are creating content. When you start to be intentional about your personal brand, you need to know the reason why you're creating content. And it's only at the back of your mind. Are you creating for likes? Are you creating for engagement? Are you creating for searchability? Are you creating for visibility? Because if you start creating content for likes, that is how you see people that divert away from what their brand, or what you expect of them. You notice that you can have friends, or you can have someone that that this person does this, and your expectation of them is that. And because there is the dopamine hit of, when you post this, you get likes or people are engaging, you start to divert away from why you're creating content. You get onto the wheel of what is trending in terms of what's trending on social media or what's trending wherever, and you start getting onto that wave. So you always need to be clear on why are you creating content. Because when you are clear on that, whether you have engagement, whether people are liking, whether they're not liking, at the back of your mind, you're like, the right people that are going to like this content are going to actually find me at some point in time. But the biggest thing is you creating for the search engine. Like every time, even now, if you're not keen enough, or if you put your name in the search engine, if you use Twitter, kindly put your name in the search engine after the call and check, what is standing on the search engine in terms of your personal brand. Like, what does the search engine know about you? When you see that your tweets start appearing on the search engine, you're going to know that now I need to start actually making tweets for the search engine. So when you're making tweets for the search engine, you're only going to tweet value. And when you don't have value, you will not tweet. That is, like, we always make that mistake. The conversations happening on social media tend to divert us, and because we are never intentional. We are like, whatever is going on, so I can also hop onto this trend or that trend. So you always have to be intentional. Why are you creating content? Why are you on a platform? Why are you even building your brand? Or where do you want to go as a person that is building your brand? That's so important in terms of leveraging social media. And I think someone, no, the question was not raised, but it's there's so many different social media platforms: LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, Medium, and everything. So when you start to be intentional in terms of building your personal brand and content creation, you can find a way to just cross-share content from one platform to another. That means even in your creating bit, when you sit down and you're creating, you're going to want to create the best because you want it to cross-perform on all of these platforms. Takes you back to intentionality, just being intentional. Yeah, so how do you create content? Let me wrap this in like 5 minutes. Showcasing your skills and creating content is not about what I think Gloria said, posting every time, hi, I'm Gloria, I can do this. Hi, I'm Gloria, I can do this. It's never about that. Like if you think building your personal brand as a freelancer, as a business owner, you're going to wake up every day and you remind us of who you are, your name, and what you're doing, then we are going to get tired of that because we as consumers, we have problems. So we are looking for brands that can solve our problems. This is why if you still compare your brand to a business brand, this is why these brands will change their campaigns all the time. The campaign that Coca-Cola runs on Easter is totally different from the campaign they run on Eid. That campaign is totally different from the campaign they run on Valentine. It is still totally different from the campaign they run on Christmas, simply because they know the consumer wants something else or their need is totally different. And when you understand that, you're able to play in the consumer's mind or you're able to play in your audience's mind. So if I'm a social media manager, I don't have to make a post that says, do you need a social media manager? Hire me. I am the best in Uganda. I am here. Contact me. Send me an email. No, because these people are having problems. They're having challenges. Their meta ads are not converting. Maybe they have a question like the one that was raised. Do we need to run social media ads? Maybe they just need to know what tools they can use for them to schedule content. Maybe they need to know what tools they can use for them to design content. So when I position myself like I have the solution to their problem, it makes more sense to them than actually me saying, I am the best, hire me. So content creation or building a strong personal brand around your skills is never about you waking up every day and telling us of how you are the best person. When it comes to a platform like LinkedIn that I'm like strongly passionate about, there's a big mistake that people make where they think that content on LinkedIn is only about when you are at an event or when you went for a networking event or when you're speaking somewhere. So all the time people are excited and thrilled. I am excited to share that I was here. I am thrilled to share that I was here. It's exciting news that I was here. So how are we going to benefit from the exciting news Monday, Tuesday, and Friday? Because that means when you don't have an exciting news to share, you are not going to build your brand. You're going to wait until you have a panel discussion, then you'll come on and share something. So it's never about excitement, thrilled, or anything. It's just about you tapping into your knowledge, your skills, your expertise, and your story. Share your knowledge, share your expertise, provide valuable and insightful tips that people can use. Things that when I read your post, I'm actually going to take my notebook and write down because this person said that, you know, for me to grow my Instagram following, I need to do these things. I need to post in the morning, I need to post in the afternoon a story, and in the evening, I need to wish people a good night. I'm going to take a screenshot of that, and I'm going to be intentional, and I'm going to follow it for over 1 month of, you know, so when I post in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening, is this going to help me convert? Like, because that's an actionable tip. But I'm going to celebrate you when you say you are excited because you were at that summit. I'm going to say, oh my God, congratulations, keep shining. And I'll go back in my docket and I'll just be there, you know, I don't know, nothing. It didn't make sense to me, but I'm happy for you. So share your knowledge, be consistent. Like, there is nothing like giving up when you become intentional about building your personal brand, because every day there are new eyeballs and every day you want to reach those eyeballs. Someone recently raised the question to me and told me, so you're working with girls 18 to 28, and what happens when they cross over to 20 after 28? I'm like, they leave the community and others are going to be born. They're going to keep giving birth to people. So all the time people turn 18 and they turn 28. So that should be like, to the person that was asking, when do I stop? Think about it that way, that every day the platform gets a new, like every day you get a new target audience, every day you get a new target customer. So every day you have to make sure, how do you convert, or how do you make that person know about you and what you can do? How do you create a perception in their minds all the time? That's why when you become like so intentional about personal branding, social media numbers are going to matter. Like, you're going to be worried, oh my God, I'm not moving from 10,000 followers. Is there a problem? Do I need to change anything? Because you're looking at, how do I reach, like, how do I get more eyeballs? How do I get more eyeballs all the time? The other thing, of course, is just experimenting with so many different types of content, photos, videos, carousels, and so much more, because now you're being intentional. So you're looking out for what is going to work for people, what's going to work for people, and all of that thing. And thirdly, of course, when it comes to content creation, is offering free things. If you are a graphics designer, you are a website designer, you are somebody, and you're starting to build your personal brand as a freelancer, you need cheerleaders. Cheerleaders are people that are going to say, he is the best. He did this for me, and it's doing this. So at some point in time, you have to offer some free resources for you to be able to get cheerleaders, because you need people that are going to just speak about your name simply because you can deliver what you said you can deliver. Because us that don't know you, we actually don't know what you can deliver. So if I'm Joshua and I'm a personal development coach, and I don't have people that are really vouching for me online for my personal development, when I start being intentional about my personal brand, the people that will comment and engage in my content, when they ask their questions or queries, I'll reach out to them in the DM, I'll start conversations, I'll offer them some free coaching sessions, because I want them to start speaking my name in rooms where I'm not in. Like, I want them to say, you know what, Joshua did ABCD for me. You're giving free resources, you're getting testimonials, you're getting case studies. And when you get these, you're able to display them on your LinkedIn profile, on your website, and so much more. I noticed that sometimes people are intentional about checking things like reviews of a service, of a product, especially for us that are into the space of like freelancing or consulting. Like, it's like on a platform like LinkedIn, someone comes and really, if they want to work with you, they scroll down, they read if there is anybody that has ever said something good about you. And when they read it, they actually go to that person's DM and ask them, oh, I saw you said ABCD about Victoria. Do you think I can work with her? I need her to also edit this for me. Like, one of the persons that has ever given me a review on LinkedIn sent me a screenshot of someone asking them that question, that I saw you said this about Victoria. Do you think she can also edit the same thing for me? Can I work with her? Said, okay. Like, people go this extra mile to try and find out if they can trust you, if your brand is credible, and if you're the right person or the right man for the job. So you need to get case studies, testimonials, and just display them on your LinkedIn or your website page. We've been going through all of this. Social media, what is social media branding? Use a professional language in terms of emails and client communication. Just set a clear expectation in terms of what you're delivering for people and what they need to expect from you as a freelancer, as a consultant. Now, that is what really destroys like people's offline brands. And that is what can answer a question like, how do I differentiate my personal brand from my business brand at some point in time when I have grown, or I really need to like spread my wings and fly? I gave you guys an example of Mira's Salon. Like, because Mira's made us fully understand that Mira's Salon, Samantha, is quality, is timely delivery. Like, there are things that we, the customers, know in our heads, that if you need timely delivery, you're going to go there at 10 and your braids are done at midday. If you're going to get quality, if you're going to get this, you're getting it from Samantha. So she set like clear expectations that we have to expect from the brand. And even when she's not there, like, you follow her Instagram and see that Samantha is in Dubai, but you'll go get your hair done because you know these people at the salon know what the brand stands for. Or those things were set that if they're not delivered, I'm actually going to go and be able to give them a review that, you know what, this was not delivered, but it's never the case. So that is what like makes it easier for you when you need to spread your wings and fly, when you want to let the brand stand on its own. The other thing is creating funnels in terms of communication. You said you want your brand to start flying. You need to do that now. So create funnels in terms of if you're someone that books meetings with people, you need to get like Calendly and just have your Calendly with your Google Meet, so someone can just book a meeting with you on Calendly. It goes to your Google Meet. Just create in place some systems where you don't have to be all the time in people's minds for you to reply messages, for you to for you to for them to even make a sale or buy anything that you're selling. So if I run a salon and on my Instagram it's so clear that there is a number, I indicate the number of the salon on Instagram, that this is the number, we are open from this point of time to this point, someone is actually going to come and read that. There's a lady I buy clothes from. They got the location pin of their boutique. They got that link, they copied it and pasted it in their Instagram as a link, and they say direction to our boutique. So that is like simple, but it is then creating a funnel that you don't have to call and complain that, oh my God, I don't know where this boutique is. No, they've put for you something that tap this link. When you go to Google Maps, you're going to be directed. And when you use it, you're directed to their boutique exactly. Like you get to the building and at least Google Maps tells you, you have arrived. So like those little systems of funnels in terms of, so if I'm a videographer, I'm a graphics designer, I don't need someone all the time come to me and ask me for send me your portfolio. I can actually include my portfolio in my LinkedIn. There is a space for links. I can get the link, put it there, and right there, you can access my portfolio here, or tap here for portfolio. So I'm trying, and in the portfolio, I've also added a funnel because there is my email address and there is my number. So basically, I'm trying to cut out all the bits of someone has to come on my LinkedIn profile. They send me a message, hi, can you design this for me? Then I miss it, then I come back, I reply tomorrow. You see all of those things. The only way for you to cut them is you create some funnels to ease the communication, to make the steps shorter. Because when you make them shorter, at some point in time, you can step away from the brand. I have seen people hire personal assistants and someone logs into your social media, they manage everything, they just send you a lead done that, you know what, this person wants this, so get it done. So you are able to go do your other things and the funnels are actually working for you. How do you really also be able to like, create those funnels is if you're making sure that your work meets or exceeds like the expectations of clients. So if you're not delivering how you're supposed to deliver, then I'm not going to be on a call like this and actually say that Mira Salon has set ABCD things in place for their salon. And even when the salon owner is not there, I can go and do my work. I would like, because your work is not exceeding expectations, people are not comfortable recommending you, they are not comfortable speaking about you, and it's just not making sense at all. What else did I? Oh my God, I'm running out of time. Let me just tap this. Let me see how many pages I have left. Yeah, I'm almost done. Maybe the other important thing when you become intentional about your personal brand is there's a conversation about right now people are being paid for how much knowledge they know. We have gone to a level where people are negotiating in terms of hours. Like I think some of us maybe have had people that say, for an hour or to speak to me for an hour, I charge this much. Let's say the minimum is 30,000. The first time I was offering calls, I would charge 30,000 for a clarity call of 30 minutes. Like we have come to that era where knowledge, people are being paid for how much knowledge they know and how many problems they can solve. So if you become intentional about building your personal brand as a freelancer, as a career professional, as a business owner, then you need to get in spaces where you're acquiring as much knowledge as possible. Knowledge in things that are happening in your industry, publications, any new updates, things of the sort. Because people are expecting you to be informed, people are expecting you to be knowledgeable. And the funny thing is that whatever we are doing, whatever you start to do, AI can do. Like there are AI tools that can create content that can do everything that we say we do. So what makes your content stand out is if you start acquiring knowledge, you're able to come out with modules or frameworks that are yours alone. If someone has been keen enough on the call, there are things I've been speaking about, like write down these questions. Who are you? What do you do? Who do you do it for? And why do you do it? Now that is my personal module or framework. The reason why I actually don't have it in the presentation is because it is my personal thing. I can only explain it when I'm training. I broke down something about changing perception, you, people, perception, platforms, product, profit, and you, people, perception, platforms, problem, product, and profit. Now, those are like 7 Ps that I created, a 360 understanding of personal branding for monetization. So you can get to a level of you yourself creating modules that you can use in your work when you're learning continuously, when you're developing things, because people are going to be paying you for how much knowledge you know. Doesn't matter if you're a business owner. I think I see now so many startup founders sitting on panels and discussing things, and they're charging like dollars of money simply because they know that knowledge. And we know that person A is strong in this. When person A stands on a platform and they're going to speak about whatever it is that they're speaking about, we're all going to listen because they've acquired that amount of knowledge in that particular industry. So if you're being intentional about your personal brand, you have to learn as much as possible. You have to take courses. And then as you're building, you need to take time and check again and see, am I doing the right thing? Do I need to improve on something? What are people saying about me? What are my friends, what are clients saying about the things I'm doing? Because if you're not taking feedback, then you're probably going to be building for yourself alone. So you need to ask people for feedback. What do they think about me? And all of those things. Most importantly, as all of those is going on, a personal brand is personal. There's something that successful entrepreneurs have been able to do is you're not even building a brand for your business. When you want to build a personal brand, or when you get off this call and you as a freelancer, you as a career professional, you as an entrepreneur, or whatever it is that you do, look at personal branding as how many people know my name. Because when you have so many people that know your name and what you can do, you can run any kind of business. Like whatever business that you're doing today, if it does not work out, you can hop on to the next business, or that business can actually give back to another business simply because you know that personal branding is personal. So all the time you need to let your personality, let people know you and everything that you can do, your personal stories, your experiences, because you're not looking at them actually knowing your business Y or business X, but you're looking at them knowing you as a person. The best example I tend to give is I told you guys all through the past 2 years, I've been trying to make sure that people know Victoria and the value she can deliver. And at the moment, I think I'm like, okay, so I can give birth. I've given birth to the African Sisters Network. I can actually give birth to a personal branding agency. I can give birth to a marketing agency. I can give birth to a content creation studio, because the narrative is I am making sure people know me and everything around me and the value I can deliver to them. So whatever it is that I'm putting my hands on, I can actually support, because me as the individual, I'm building a strong personal brand. That should be the goal, or that should be like what you're looking at. Most of us here, I think, are familiar with tools, but the tools that I tend to use, the tools I know about, are Wix, Squarespace, WordPress, and WordPress. And then for social media, of course, Buffer, Hootsuite, Sprout Social. Content creation, the common one is Canva, Adobe Suite, and Grammarly. Planning in terms of content creation, you need Notion as much as possible. If you want to plan anything, if you want to plan your entire monthly content calendar, if you want to set your personal brand goals as a person, it's a conversation I didn't speak about, but if you want to set your personal brand goals, if you want to do anything, you need Notion. Now more than ever, we are open for Q&A, and we can let back the microphone to Andrew. Andrew, over to you.
Okay. Thank you so much. We have some questions already in the chat. One gentleman is asking, he has two, I don't know if the word two personalities is the best word, but someone who is a lawyer during the day and a DJ during the night. Simon is in the same situation. He's asking, how can you balance the two? Because he has a profile, the official profile, Musinguzi Simon on LinkedIn, and Simon Z, aka on other platforms. So how should he go about that? And then another question around shed more light on sharing person. It's not complete, but I think she's referring to there's a point which you talked about, opening up, sharing personal stories. Yeah, then Sylvia wants you to repeat the tools. I think let's first look at those ones we're about to finish, and then we sign out. If there is one more burning question, put it in the chat. We'll close with that one.
Okay, so I'll leave the tools on here as I address the question of I have two personalities. Let's say I'm a lawyer and I'm a DJ. The conversation, or the most of what I've been speaking about frequently is, what value do you offer? What do you stand for as a person? Like you are a lawyer because I don't know what frameworks of law are there, criminal law, family law, and all of those things. You are DJ because I don't know what I need to find out how to put a framework to the DJ. But if I'm Musinguzi, I need to have a sit down and try to look at what value do I offer or what sets me apart in terms of my two personalities, which are actually not different, but I'm assuming they're different. So in line of I'm a career professional, I'm a lawyer, but then I have something else that I do that I'm skilled in. So this is a passion. I'm passionate about, I don't know, music and everything around it. So I can create a narrative between me, the lawyer, and the fact that I'm passionate about music. But when it comes to, he said online presence, he has Z. Can Andrew really unmute? We have a real conversation in terms of relating it to what it is.
Yeah. So yeah, this gentleman, he has the official names on LinkedIn because he wants to be known in that particular light as a professional LinkedIn, but he's also a dangerous musician. Yeah, and I think you had already started talking about it, how he can create the narrative of being a lawyer who is a DJ, and that becomes something that makes you stand out.
So he's a musician. What kind of what kind of music does he sing? That also determines. So we are going into his values. You know what? So what kind of music does he sing?
Yeah. So we are looking for the common denominator, I think.
Yes, sort of look for what is in there that connects the law to the music. What kind of music does he sing?
Yeah.
I think when I get to the music, music is versatile, whereby for you to fit in the market, you have to be versatile. You have to do a couple of genres, not just one genre. So I do a couple of genres, and it's better not to be boxed as an artist. So that's why I'm finding a problem whereby there are other things that I can do, but how do I merge these two to work together?
Okay, so you are a lawyer, but then you are a musician. You sing gospel music, you sing secular music. What kind of music do you sing?
No, I'm an artist, and then I'm a student, business, like a lot of things. So
Student does not define your personal brand. A lot of things does not define your personal brand. So we kind of have two definitions at the moment. But the question was in regards to, is it gospel music? Is it secular music? Is it band music?
it's not gospel music, but you can relate it to gospel also, but it's not gospel. So.
Inspirational, maybe. So inspirational soul music.
Okay. So for me,
that's what I say. Okay.
No, what I see is I have seen. I even have an example. I'll give you. I don't know his name, but I'll give you the example, and in future I'll look for him. Already, you as a lawyer, that is the profession that you're doing. So when we are going to say we are describing your personal brand, so your career is into law and everything, and maybe you're doing music because you're passionate about it. So how do you get the two to work hand in hand, or how can you even have the two support each other? So what do we know about lawyers? We know that lawyers are always wearing suits. So me as a musician, how do I, if I'm to work out that brand or, meet in the middle, I'm like, okay, so lawyers are in court and they're always wearing suits. So I'm going to create a narrative around me being a lawyer musician. And actually in my music, I'm always going to be wearing suits. Like I need to create the narrative that you guys are going to buy into me comfortably being a lawyer and a musician without one going against the legal guidelines and all of the frameworks that you guys work around, without having any client that is going to complain or have issues of working with me simply because of the way I am doing the things I do. The biggest example you can see is there's a gentleman on social media, I think he's called the Ugandan lawyer. He has dreads and everything, but one, he mastered the fact that people are going to buy into my value. So my value is the information and the information I give. So he knows that I give the information. Then my dreadlocks and everything don't actually matter because they are not against the ethical standards. But I'm a lawyer. I have to show up in suits and I have to do ABCD things. When it comes to the brand identity in terms of naming, you really have to, it's a serious one over there. Because when we come on LinkedIn and we are interacting with Musinguzi Emma, and we have to interact with somebody else on another platform, it's actually, it's a blunder, like it's a mess. It's a very, very big mess that, it's a very, very big mess that you have to solve. I have a very good friend that I see, not a good friend, but I have a gentleman I see on LinkedIn. He sings in a band, forgotten the band, but he does customer, I think he does marketing something for UBL or for Airtel, one of the two. But he actually sings in a band, like he's a musician. And he has found a balance between us taking up his brand as someone that sings in a band and a marketing executive in a top commercial company, because he finds a way to balance the two. His brand identity is the same. The difference is that he's passionate about something, and then he has a career that he does. So you just need to find a balance in there. What are some of the things that are known about lawyers that you can bring into your music industry so that we can know you as the singing lawyer? Like, what are those things that are known about lawyers that you can use to brand yourself as the lawyer that sings? That's what you have to do.
Yeah, so I think it's
And
more
you
like
had another question.
the way people now call Bobby Wine a politician with a guitar, like looking for all ways of keeping it together as one thing. Yeah. So one of the other questions was, these AIs have brought a lot of things here. Where are we? The AIs are already reporting. Yeah, so someone wanted you to shed more light on the personal. She didn't finish the sentence, but I think she was referring to the point where you talked about opening up and sharing your personal life. Or she might be referring to where you said personal branding is personal. I don't know. Joanne, you can shed more light? The sentence is not complete.
Okay.
Yeah, Joanne, if you are there, your question, you didn't finish the sentence. Are you there?
Hi, I'm
Hi,
Joan.
Joan.
I was requesting for I was requesting shed some more light about sharing your personal life, because at some point I think at some point there should be a limit. So how do you not cross the limit? I don't know. Yeah, that's it.
Yes, I think you're asking for many of us. So how do you cross the limit and you open up completely?
Okay. It's, you have to, when you're, let's say you're going to share about your personal life, you have to ask yourself questions like, how does this, let's say, how does this story help the brand I'm building? How does this story help the brand I'm building? Where does this story have to lead the brand I'm building? The example I'll give is if the best example I'll give is, let me give an example relating it to a common series. There's a series that many of us was I think people watched. It's called Suits. So in Suits, there was this boy that didn't actually go to Harvard, but he was a very, very good lawyer. So just imagine if there's somebody out there that is really good at doing their job, like somebody's doing their job and everybody knows they're doing their job, but they actually did not graduate or they did not go to university. They stopped in the middle and they just acquired knowledge and started doing the things they're doing. So vulnerability is key in terms of building your personal brand. And actually, if that person ever wakes up and decides to share that, but you know what, guys, all of you have bought into my narrative, but the fact is, I did not go to university, I did not graduate, but I've been doing ABCD things and I've been hired in all of these companies. That story will break the internet, the story will sell, but is the story going to grow their personal brand further? The story is going to break the internet and it will sell, but the story might also break the brand. It's not only going to break their personal brand alone, it's going to break the brands of all the companies that have actually hired that person, because come on, this person said they did not go to university. So it's always about asking yourself those kind of questions. Does this story really align with the kind of brand I'm building? The other question is, now you are shaping perception. So you always actually have to have the question of what will people think because what will people think is so important. It goes beyond being vulnerable or sharing your personal life to what will people think. But when I say that personal branding is personal, the challenge is we all of us overthink it and think about the worst of the worst, and we neglect things like your daily kind of experiences. You didn't come from Mars. You have been growing up. You have been having challenges. You did not know how to write a proposal. You had to learn how to write a proposal. You didn't know how to use Excel. You had to take a course to learn Excel. The normal challenges without taking the extra beat are what makes sense. But just that every time we say, tell your personal story or infuse it with your personal story, what comes to the back of people's minds is, now I think this person wants me to speak about how I did not go to campus for 5 years because my father could not afford tuition, and then I got tuition. But are you running a charity organization? Because if you're not running a charity organization, then a story about how you did not get tuition is not going to convert for your business. That's the other thing. So sharing your personal stories are stories that kind of actually relate to you as a brand, as a person, and the things that you're doing. So if I'm running a charity organization and I need people to sponsor young girls for education and everything, then I can tell them that I didn't go to campus for 5 years. Now I graduated at 36 because I did not have tuition. So the world has to come up and sponsor African girls in terms of education. So the biggest question is, does this story really align with the brand I'm building? And where is this story going to take me? And then most importantly, always look at the stories that really align with the things that you are doing as a brand or as a freelancer or as a business owner or even as a career professional. Because if all of us understand Luganda here, there's something that they tend to tell us of, I've forgotten it in Luganda, but in English, you still have to remain the hero of your story. Like all the time, you have to remain the hero of the story. So any kind of personal story that you're telling, if you're not remaining the hero of that story, then you don't have to tell the story. That's the other framework to use. So when you think about it, is it positioning you as a winner, as a conqueror? If it's not doing that, then you don't have to tell the story. Over to you, Andrew.
Yes, it's already time. Ever since the month started, we've not gone past time. This is the first time. So you'll forgive us. It shows you how nice the session is going. Yeah, the gentleman is saying the film star Tafa. Is it the one in Luganda?
Yeah, start a film.
Okay. I think let's answer this one as the last one. Innocent is saying, you said maybe student is not a brand. He's asking if it is too early or too late for them as students, and what kind of content should they be putting out, or what kind of brand should a student be building?
Okay. Oh my God. The question makes me feel like I've not been speaking about anything all through. Being a student is not a brand because you are at campus and you are studying something. So what you're studying, when we say showcase your skills, your expertise, your unique value proposition, you being a student is not your skill or expertise, but what you're learning at school is your skill, is your expertise. So if I'm at school and I'm at Makerere, I'm studying business administration, and already probably my mind has it, I'm going to major in marketing. And currently I have discovered myself, I have noticed that, I'm strongly passionate about things like social media marketing, digital marketing, search engine optimization, content distribution. I am going to make sure I am building a brand around those because I want those to build a narrative around me. Me saying or even saying that I'm a student, yes, I'm a student at Makerere University who is strongly passionate about digital marketing, social media, content management, and how brands are using stories to tell narratives. Because that is what I want to be known for. Nobody is going to take me in, or even nobody is going to listen to me further simply because what I come with is me being a student. So if you're a student, look at the things that you're studying, introspect it, and even ask yourself questions. If those are the things that you like, if those are the things you are passionate about, because that is what we are then going to know about you, or that is what you're then going to use to make us know about you. I have someone that does, I work with a very young boy. He's at Makerere. He's studying dentist. I think he's a dental surgeon and everything. And he's a graphics designer. He does very nice graphics. And at the moment, he's also telling me, oh my God, okay, I don't know what I'm doing in dentistry, but I'm trying to build a brand around being a graphics designer. So he has understood that being a student is not what describes him, but what else does he have, or what value does he have to offer? Sometimes the value can be in the course that you are studying, or sometimes the value can be in the things that you are passionate about. There is a boy I was keenly observing 2-3 years ago on Twitter. He calls himself Dr. Kiza Blair. He was studying medicine, and because he was so passionate about sexual reproductive health, every day he used to wake up and tell us about whatever sexual reproductive health, and everything around it. And I'm actually speaking about him because he built a narrative around his name, not because he was studying at Mara University, but because of the things he was speaking about. So being a student is there, but what do you want us to know about you? Because being a student doesn't make up your brand, but you can look in alignment with the things you're doing at school, what you're passionate about, and then start building your brand around that. And you'll be shocked. Like I said, we can all monetize the skills or the expertise that we have, even if we have not yet graduated. Like you're still in school, you're a student, but you are learning things and you can monetize them, whatever it is, taxation, social media management, campaign, anything. Like there is nothing that you can not monetize if you can really deliver that service to somebody.
Well
We are
said.
6 minutes late.
Yeah, I think that was an answer for many. You can even see the claps. Yeah. Thank you so much. We've come to the end. It's been a beautiful session. I think we need to continue, maybe have part 2, because you can feel the energy. People are still taking it in and still reflecting and connecting dots. It's been a fantastic session. Thank you, Victoria, for coming. Thank you for sharing what you've shared. Thank you, everyone who attended. This video is going to be available shortly. All the others are already available on the playlist, and you can share or rewatch. I know she was speaking slightly very fast because she had a lot of content. Yeah, thank you so much. See you tomorrow, same time, same link.
All right then. Thank you so much for having me. Have a good evening.